Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Isabella. We're here with Marketing at Tatsoft. And today I've got Marc Taccolini, who's our CEO and founder. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the different generations of technology, everything from DOS to .NET to where we are right now with AI and all this new stuff. And we're going to be doing this by talking with Marc, who has experience in this area since the DOS times. And he had very different business and ventures in this industrial space. Really, all those generations of technology, I think you've seen them developed. You've worked with them through all this time. So we're going to be talking a little bit about your experience because honestly, they go together. This
Yes.
market and your career kind of walk together. So yeah, so let's start.
Let's
If
go.
you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you follow. But we're going to be to talk about this. I'm going to be exploring one of the technical articles that we wrote. You can find all of our technical articles on our website at About Technical Articles. We have a bunch of different things, including AI. Really worth taking a look and at those more specific content. But today we're going to be using this one from DOS.NET, 40 years of SCADA HMI, which, like I said, really go through all the different changes that this space has gone through. So kind of just to give you an intro, the first step on this journey is really the DOS and the first graphical SCADA. We're not going to dive too much into it. I think it's just worth mentioning that we're a bunch of different technologies over
Yeah.
there. That's where Marc started. And those systems really featured centralized tag definitions. Things were a little bit different then.
In fact, we
When it
need to
gets,
go back to 1989.
yeah,
Okay. And around 1992, at that time, my company was Unisofts, and we
mhm,
had a very important first brand label with DOS. I had an agreement with the company Bosch in Europe, and they did car manufacturing production lines. They deployed thousands of licenses in many production lines across Europe. The system was named Madap, one of the
nice.
brand labels. And that was some other brand labels, but my initial venture on that area was supplying that HMI machines for factory floor, mainly manufacturing across
Mhm.
Europe. That was my first bigger experience in the market.
That's awesome. And then as we get into the 90s, then we get the Windows boom, which I think affected everything and everywhere. And that's really where you release Unisoft. And I think it's worth telling a little bit about that company, how it relates to Indasoft. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Oh yeah, that's very important. In fact, if you can even zoom out a little big bit, because no, make bigger,
Okay.
so you can see the little CG on the left side, where it's written Unisofts. Okay,
Yeah.
and for people that's a little older in the market, they may probably recognize that logo also as Indosofts. What did happen when Windows came up, we create a complete new architecture. So that's the second generation. The DOS code was not really used anymore. So we create a new system from scratch called Unisofts. And that was the name I was using in Brazil and Europe, South America and Europe. And United States, that name was taken. So I created a brand label of my own products named Indosofts for the United States. And we're very successful. The Indosoft brand label did grow so much that I decided to pretty much make them one one brand only. And I deprecated the previous Unisoft brands. And the reason Indosoft did grow a lot on that initial years was because of Windows CE.
We got it.
That generation, we also create an application for a embedded operating system. At that time was Windows CE. of course, you're not planning to run those Cassiopeias the factory floor. But this Cassiopeia is because my previous company, Unisofts, even before Insoft, was the very first company, as far as I know, in the world to release a full working HMI for Windows CE.
Nice.
We were so early on the market that this weird device was the only thing they were selling with Windows CE at that time. The panels, the HMIs, they come later. But even by that time, we had a full release Windows CE. If I'm not mistaken, the year was 1995, or I'll not say the dates on the article.
That's fair.
I think it was 1996 or 1995. Okay. So
Perfect.
the second generation was all about Windows. Okay. And the second generation taught an important lesson for us. By that time, there was a product called Wonderware InTouch that became the market leader, replacing US Data Factor Link. US Data Factor Link was the main product on the first generation, and the main product on the second generation was InTouch. Guess why, Isabella?
I cannot tell you why.
Well, it's very simple. He was the very first product to fully embrace Windows. When we did transition from DOS to Windows, many companies, I'm sorry to say even myself, initially create only the displays or some components around Windows. In fact, all the companies, they were doing that in the beginning.
Okay.
Windows was very new at that time and not exactly stable. But Wonderware and InTouch, they fully embrace that. And they are able to grow thanks to the benefits of the platform generation.
Perfect.
Then, when you went to the number 3 generation, that was SCADA and .NET, I learned my lesson. I decided for the long term, it wasn't enough to create .NET modules. Make a little bigger, please. It was necessary to create a completely new product from the green fields to embrace .NET.
Perfect.
So what I did to make that enable, I sold the Indosoft company, and I'm very happy to tell you guys that the Indosoft products, after I sold, was later resold again, and then to Schneider and Schneider Aviva, and on the end, if you are familiar with the product Aviva Edge HMI, I'm very proud to say that this product is mainly up to this date based on the kernel and on the product that was our Indosoft product. In fact, the internal source code of that is C++. Is a second generation product. But then what Aviva did, what many companies does, they kept the kernel on the second generation and added some .NET components around.
Perfect.
This is okay. So you protect the installed base. It's very little investments. But give the experience level 2 with InTouch, what, by the way, Aviva bought also. It's clear that on the long run, if you talk about 5, 10, 20 years, it's not enough to try to do some, how can I explain that, some workarounds, some packing of new technology on top of old ones. You need really to redo from greenfield. So at that time, we launched around 12 years ago, the Tatsoft Factory Studio. That was, as far as I know, again, the first product 100% in top of .NET. That was around 10 years ago.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about .NET? Why it was important
definitely. If you are old enough, you remember from time to time Windows having blue screens.
Yes.
Or errors, an application was running. The .NET environment, it's very powerful because it creates an isolation between the operating system, whatever is Windows, Linux also, by the way, and your application. So your application is impossible to create a blue screen. Your application is impossible to interfere with another running application because they are running in an environment .NET called the managed codes. In that article, we use a term called intrinsically safe software. You have protections, not because we are good, but because the platform itself has built-in protections. And another big benefit, when Microsoft has a new operating system or a patch, your application, our product, don't worry about that because we are not touching directly the operating system or the hardware. We are running in that dot framework model.
That's perfect.
There's
Thank
some
you.
other benefits, but that's where that's important.
And like you said, the importance of building something on top of that from scratch
Yes.
to really get the most out of that technology and not just a workaround, like you
It's
said.
like a chain. If you have 9 very powerful and one that's the weak piece, it will break on the weak piece. You need to replace everything.
Perfect. And that's why we really call it generations. And
Exactly.
I think that, and then
that
we get
third generation. So the first 3 generations, the driving force was the operating platform from DOS to Windows to .NET. I need to make a comment here that the third generation, in fact, is .NET or Java.
Yes.
I strongly believe that .NET is much better for critical system factory floor automation, not Java. Mm-hmm. Java works fine in many areas, but that's a debate for another video.
Yeah.
For now, let's say that number 3 generation, it's .NET, but it's okay if it's Java. That's also acceptable.
Yes. And in this article, we do have some comparisons as well, if you guys want to explore. And then we really get into generation 4 and beyond. And that's what we're calling it because it's happening still. So we are still seeing all we're leaving it. So all the technologies around it. And I would love your thoughts on how did it start and what are the basic things that we should consider when we think about generation 4.
Mm-hmm. We put out a 4th generation product last year with frameworks 10.1.
Yeah.
And the 4th generation is different from the other 3 ones. The other ones were very simple. DOS to Windows, Windows.NET. Now, .NET to many new combined synergetic technologies. Yes. So when you go to the 4th generation, we have the new concepts around unified namespace. We have WebAssembly technologies. We have .NET and Python 3 interop. We have many new technologies that converge together to change completely your architecture requirements. And the main one, the only one, in our website, docs.soft.com, we have a technology section with the 16 key technologies for a generation 4 product. Okay. But one that I would like to put some emphasis, if you can zoom in the page so they can read the AI tools, are AI. Yeah. So I would say the minimum set of technologies a number 4 generation product must support are the ones in that table. And make it a little bigger, so for the user they can see the titles. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. So what are those tools? MCP to runtime allows your running application do interactions with chatbots, with AI, large language LLM models. So you can question and feedback your running automation solution through AI tools. We call that MCP for runtime. MCP for designer. You let the AI help you to create your solution. The same way everyone is using AI to create emails, or marketing documents. Great news, they can create also frameworks application now.
That's awesome.
The next tool, machine learning, is the AI tool that is being used for 10, 20 years. In fact, we have another article in that technical papers explaining why there is this hype about AI, LLM, about those charts, but machine learning.net is on version 4.0. And the Python libraries are also very stable. So machine learning is another branch of AI that we explain in our articles that we have fully embedded and native in our application, either with C# or Python. All the libraries and the models, they are natively in the new architecture.
That's awesome.
And finally, of course, last but not least, we are using, of course, some AI assistant to help documentation. That's a given nowadays. Many products that are not even fourth generation have AI to assist on help documentation. The three ones are the important ones. And we did that, not an external module. That's embedded in the unified namespace tools. So all those items, you can create an external MCP module. That's not what we did. Frameworks 10.1 was great for a greenfield, knowing about AI.
Yeah.
Create object names and namespaces to the core, prepared to use of the AI. That's why we can do things so easily, so quickly, because of that specific new design.
Perfect. And like you said, I think AI is the one that makes everyone stop and stare. But there are a lot of technologies.
There are many others. WebAssembly, very important. If you really like technology, I do recommend to read the Technology Foundation in our websites.
Yeah. And can you tell me a little bit about the biggest challenges for this generation?
Well, as we did mention on the release of 10.1 last year, everything's changing a little too fast now.
Yeah.
This MCP technology that nowadays is very important. It barely has, I don't believe it has even 1 year yet.
Yeah.
So the things are moving very fast. And industrial automation, we need to be reliable. We cannot really be benchmark. So we are putting lots of effort to make the synthesis available promptly, because nowadays you cannot afford to wait 1, 2, 3 years to start to test that technology. You wait that long, you frankly not trying to make anyone become afraid, but it's true. It's very possible, depending on the size of your company, will be out of business. So you cannot really afford to delay, like sometimes doing industrial automation. Oh, this technology is cool. I think I may use that in 2 or 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So the challenge is to bring those technologies very quickly, but in a safe, secure, reliable, and well-planned way.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. And the only reason we are being able to do that is not because we are doing the last 6 months that we create MCP tools. It was because the 10 previous years, when you did the modification from Factory Studio to frameworks, that we created a product natively Generation 4. So frameworks to the internal structures, to the object names, namespaces, what your application or solution will generate, was prepared to do that integration. That's how we solve that challenge, with long, deep, many years of preparation to be able to plug in the new technology in a safe way.
That's perfect. I think we always talk about this internally, that the base must be well-structured and reliable, and based on good, long-lasting technology. So .NET's still our base and still where everything is built on.
Yeah, if you go to the 4 generations, we have an image in that article in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all those 4, they are still in production, if you think about. If you go to the factory floor, you may still find some DOS applications, some scenarios. We definitely will find generation 2. the InduSoft product and all the replacements, they may have some generation 3 components, but in reality, they are generation 2 to the core. We have some new kids in the block, like ourselves, Gnish, that are generation 3 products. And we have frameworks and some of the products in the markets that are designed specifically to generation 4.
That's perfect. And you've seen all of them, all those 38 years of technology.
Yes, and surely that helps, because when you create frameworks from scratch, we did that already 3 times. So every time we do, we have a little bit more. And it's not only myself, and to make that clear, we have a core set of engineers and developers our company that they also have that long-term experience. It's not only myself, and to make that very clear.
No, perfect. And do you think there was a big lesson learned from all those decades of experience? Something that jumped to mind?
On the long term, it pays the price to have this technology updates.
Okay.
And we have a big fight sometimes with the market itself. Industrial automation, they really don't like to adopt new things. So we read a lot, this process is working for the last 15 years. I know that in detail. So one lesson I learned that I hope our integrators, our end users are learning also, that if you think in a very short term, like a few months or 1 year, you work whatever you knew from the last 5-10 years. But nowadays, with AI and the economy, everything's accelerating, the competition is harder than ever. You cannot afford to think now or 6 months. You need to make the decision what will be your best bets to be in a good position 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And if you do that, always stretch it. And some customers, they understand that. That's why they are our customers. They do that. I will wrap up with one case, okay? There was this very large steel manufacturer company that they decided to make a standard in factory link at the time from Siemens. Siemens is the biggest automation company in the world. They play, we are safe. We are buying factory link from Siemens. That's the biggest company in the world. And all steel plants I visit in Europe, they had factory link running for 20 years. Okay. Yeah. So let's put factory link as a standard. Many high-level management people, sometimes they do the same mistake. Because the fact that was running for 10, 20 years is a bad thing, not a good. It means, and they don't have a new version, like Factory Link didn't have a new version. If it's the same brand, but new releases, it's okay. But the same product from 10, 20 years ago, even we try to play safe and lazy and keep what you know, you'll be forced to change. Because the maintenance costs, the limitation, after 5, 10, 15 years, they become insufferable. So at one point, Siemens told the market, okay, guys, Factory Link's dead. Bye-bye. You need to redo your application, these other products that Siemens was offering. And we gladly were able to win back that customer because we had win the technical evaluation. The decision to use us, like in many customers, we frequently win the technical evaluation. But then in some cases, they play safe to go to the legacy tool, or if the tool they know. So what I learned that needs to make more promotion, that's what I'm doing now, for you, if you believe our technology is better, in many cases you see for many scenarios we are, you should make the bet on the long run. That in 5, 10, 15 years from now, in the system that's well more prepared for the change environments. not what we used and knew from 15 years ago.
Perfect. No, I think that's a good last thought.
Yes.
And really, where to start? Then my recommendation as well is that on our website, you can download 10.1 right now, play around with it, talk with us. You'll find links to schedule a meeting with our technical team. Once you download, you can talk with us directly. Let's talk about your application. Really dive into the technical side of stuff, because I agree, that's where we shine. We're not going to have a live Q&A for this session, but if you guys do have any questions or, like I said, want to discuss your applications, reach out to us on Discord. You can find
or put a comment on the video, even better, that we'll see and reply there also.
That as well. But yeah, if you want to connect with us, you can find the link on our website or here on this video. If you don't follow our channel yet, please do so. We do post a lot of these. We're always bringing you new information, new technical information about our product and about the market in general. And I think those discussions are always valuable. So thank you, Marc, for being here.
Well, thank you for your time. And if you're a brave man or woman to see to the end of this video, give me the like.
Yeah,
everyone deserves that. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll talk soon.